Everyone, it is March 29th on Read Through the Word, and it's good to be with you today. There is something about having a place to go, a place that you can run to and take a deep breath, a place of refuge. I know that one of my places of refuge is in relaxation and a place to regroup and rethink is the coast here in North Carolina. I love to go away to the coastline. There's something about sitting in the sand in a chair. I don't like sitting straight in the sand, but sitting in my chair and right on the water's edge and looking at how vast the water is makes me remember how small I am, and the problems that I have are really not that big of a deal, that God's big enough to handle them all. I also like to run to the mountains. Any place to go away and regroup. And these places of refuge were certainly not designed for a person to go and just escape and regroup. They also were not a place where a person could go and be protected for murdering someone. The idea of the place of refuge, the cities of refuge, which, by the way, I don't know if you noticed, this was the first year that I noticed they were all on hill country, which meant it wasn't an easy trek to get there. So you had to really need to get there and want to get there to get there. And what this place was, these places were designed to be a safe haven for someone who accidentally took the life of someone, to stay safe until the situation was investigated. It was by no place sanctuary for a murderer to escape justice. They were to go there, and they were to be allowed safety and protection until the case was investigated. And so just remember that as you're thinking of this. God was certainly not saying you can murder someone and be protected by that. It's really important that we understand that. But here's the thing. Sometimes when I need a place of refuge, and I don't mean for the situation here, and I can't get to the coast, as I said, that's my favorite place to be, and I can't get to the mountains, I can't leave my place, my surroundings, my place of refuge, and your place of refuge, if you are a believer, if you are surrounded by, just pressed in and feel crushed and pulled in all different directions and don't know how to proceed and how to get through the current situation that you may be facing. As a child of God, and even those that aren't children of God, hopefully in a time of trouble they would turn to God. But God is our place of refuge. We don't have to hop in our car and drive somewhere, pack a suitcase. We can just find a quiet place in our home. And I realize that's kind of hard sometimes. I remember when mine were little, I couldn't even go to the bathroom by myself. So I get that, and it may have to be for those of you that have young children at home, your young moms. You may have to wait till nap time or bedtime. But run to God and let Him be your refuge. There are so many places that we seem to take refuge in that are wrong places of refuge. I know one of my favorite places of refuge for many, many years was the mall or any retail place, establishment. I mean, it didn't have to be a mall. It could be any store, any big box store, any little box store, anything. But that's the way I would call what we call retail therapy. I would go get retail therapy, and that would be my refuge. And I would feel really good until the bill came, right? And then some of us seek refuge in another person that is not our spouse. Some of us seek refuge in online sources that are not healthy for us and not good for our souls. And then some online places like Candy Crush and some of the games that are on right now. I love solitaire. I'm still just that's my game. And I have found a little app that has a word search, and I like to do that. But we tend to just bury ourselves in social media and games and studying other people's lives and news and all of that. And we use that as a place of refuge. So what if when we have problems and we have situations where we just don't know what to do and we need a place of refuge, what if we turn to Jesus, to God, when we sin, when we are in a bad place? Because God has safe boundaries, just like the sanctuary cities or the cities of refuge. They were safe boundaries. They knew they were safe there. And that there's unconditional love from God and protection there. There's no fear when we run to God of being rejected. He will accept us. We do need to make sure that we are accountable for our sin to Him and confess that to Him. But when we do, that Holy Spirit, the Holy Spirit that we have, will investigate our life and reveal our sin to us when we're running to Him in a place of refuge. And then we receive the grace and mercy that we need, that will restore and refresh us and realign us back into right relationship with God. So let's think of our place of refuge as the psalmist in Psalm 46 and 91. I just put some verses there. I'm not going to read them out loud. But there are many others. Just do a quick Bible Gateway keyword search of refuge and look at all the times that refuge is referenced to God. And certainly the psalmists were familiar with that. Most of those psalms were written in David's period in refuge and running. Neither of these were penned by David, but certainly many were penned by David in times of rescuing and in times of running and needing that refreshment. So I guess today let's ask ourselves, who is or where is my place of refuge? And is it a healthy place for me? Is it a place that will build me up, that will replenish me? And let me just make it clear here. I mean, we're talking about these cities of refuge, this place to run being, of course, the difference between a murder and like a manslaughter situation. But sometimes we need a place of refuge and there's no sin involved. We just need time away from the crazy that surrounds us and from all the world pressing in on us. So running to a place of refuge doesn't necessarily have to mean that we're in sin. We just need a place of solace and a place of quiet. And so make that God, and make that any place. It doesn't have to be, like I said earlier, getting in your car and going somewhere. Make a time for Him. Make a time and say, my refuge and my fortress, my God in whom I trust. I'm having a really hard time now, and I just need to sit with you. And sometimes that's all we need to do is just sit quiet and just let ourselves feel Him around us. So where do you run? Where is your place to run? Is it healthy for you? And if it isn't, try running to God. See you next time on Read Through the Word.